You finally got it. The thing you worked for. The goal you chased. The achievement you told yourself would change everything. And for a moment, it does. There's relief. Maybe even joy. But then, something unexpected happens. The emptiness returns. Quietly. Persistently. You thought reaching the goal would fill something in you. But instead, you're just here. At the finish line. Feeling nothing close to what you imagined. And you can't tell anyone. Because how do you explain that you feel empty after getting exactly what you wanted? How do you admit that success didn't fix you the way you thought it would? There's a psychology to this. A reason achievement so often leads to emptiness instead of fulfillment. And understanding it might be the only thing that actually helps. Most of your life, you've been taught to think in destinations. Get the degree. Get the job. Get the promotion. Hit the milestone. And underneath all of it is an unspoken promise: when you arrive, you'll feel different. When you achieve the thing, the struggle will have been worth it. The emptiness you feel now will be replaced by satisfaction. By pride. By a sense of completion. But here's what no one tells you. Arrival is an illusion. You reach the goal, and nothing fundamental changes. You're still you. With the same thoughts. The same insecurities. The same restlessness. The goal was supposed to be the answer. But it was just a thing. An external milestone. A point on a map. And you're still the same person who started the journey. Just now, you're that person standing at a different location. The degree doesn't make you feel smarter. The promotion doesn't make you feel worthy. The achievement doesn't make you feel complete. Because the emptiness was never about lacking the thing. It was about something else entirely. And chasing the thing was just a way to avoid looking at what was actually missing. But now you've arrived. And the thing you were avoiding, the internal work, the unresolved feelings, the questions you didn't want to ask, it's still there. Waiting. And the goal, which was supposed to be the solution, is now revealed for what it always was, a distraction. Here's what makes post-achievement emptiness so disorienting. Your identity was built around the pursuit. For months, maybe years, you were the person working toward X. That goal gave you structure. Purpose. A reason to keep going. Every day had direction. Every choice had a reference point. Every sacrifice made sense because it was moving you toward the thing. And then you achieve it. And suddenly, you're not the person working toward it anymore. You're the person who has it. And that should feel victorious. But instead, it feels empty. Because who are you now? What do you do with your days? What gives you purpose? What do you strive for next? The goal wasn't just a goal. It was your North Star. It organized your entire sense of self. And now it's gone. You've reached it. Completed it. And there's nothing left to chase. This is the identity collapse. The moment when you realize that you've been so focused on becoming the person who achieves the thing that you forgot to become a person outside of that achievement. You were a student. Now you're not. And you don't know who you are without the structure school provided. You were working toward the promotion. Now you have it. And you don't know what to want next. You were training for the goal. Now you've reached it. And the routine that defined your life has disappeared. And in that absence, you feel lost. Not because you failed. But because you succeeded. And success revealed that the goal was never the point. The point was having something to work toward. Something to organize your life around. Something to delay the question, what do I actually want? And now that the goal is achieved, the question is unavoidable. And you don't have an answer. There's a term in psychology, the hedonic treadmill. It's the idea that humans adapt to new circumstances quickly. Both good and bad. You get the raise. It feels amazing. For a week, maybe 2. And then it becomes your new normal. You adapt. The excitement fades. And you're back to your baseline level of happiness. Not because the raise wasn't real, but because your system adjusts. What was once extraordinary becomes ordinary. And this is why achievement so rarely delivers lasting fulfillment. Because fulfillment isn't a destination. It's not something you reach and then keep. It's a temporary spike. A brief departure from baseline. And then your system recalibrates. You thought achieving the goal would elevate you permanently. But it just resets your expectations. Now you want the next thing. The next level. The next milestone. And the cycle begins again. The goal you just achieved. It's no longer satisfying. It's just your new starting point. And the emptiness you thought the goal would fix? It's back. Because it was never about the goal. It was about the gap between where you are and where you think you should be. And that gap doesn't close when you achieve something. It just shifts. Because as soon as you reach one milestone, your mind creates another. A new gap. A new, not enough yet. And you start chasing again. Not because you're ungrateful. Not because you're broken. But because your system is designed to adapt. To normalize. To keep you striving. And striving feels like purpose. But it's not the same as fulfillment. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You weren't chasing the goal. You were chasing how you thought the goal would make you feel. Worthy. Validated. Enough. You thought, when I achieve this, people will respect me. When I reach this milestone, I'll finally feel like I've made it. When I accomplish this, I'll prove to myself that I'm capable. But those feelings, worth, validation, enoughness, they don't come from achievement. They come from within. Or they don't come at all. And when you place them outside yourself, when you attach them to goals, milestones, accomplishments, you set yourself up for this exact disappointment. Because external achievements can't fix internal voids. The degree can't make you feel smart if you don't believe you're smart. The promotion can't make you feel worthy if you don't believe you're worthy. The goal can't make you feel enough if you fundamentally believe you're not. So you achieve it. And the feeling you were chasing doesn't arrive. And you're confused. Disappointed. Maybe even angry. You did everything right. You worked hard. You sacrificed. You earned it. So why don't you feel the way you were supposed to feel? Because the goal was never the problem. And the goal was never the solution. The problem is the belief that you need to achieve something external to feel something internal. And that belief doesn't go away just because you checked a box. If anything, achieving the goal and still feeling empty makes the belief stronger. Because now you have evidence, even when you succeed, it's not enough. Even when you achieve, you still feel lacking. And the emptiness deepens. Not because you failed. But because you succeeded and it didn't fix what you thought it would fix. So what do you do with this? How do you move forward when achieving your goals doesn't bring the fulfillment you expected? You stop outsourcing your sense of worth to accomplishments. You stop believing that the next goal will be the one that finally makes you feel complete. You stop running from the present by always chasing the future. And you start asking different questions. Not, what do I need to achieve to feel fulfilled? But, what does fulfillment actually feel like? And here's what most people discover when they sit with that question. Fulfillment isn't a feeling you earn. It's a state you allow. It's not about accumulating achievements. It's about being present with what is. It's not about arriving somewhere new. It's about noticing where you already are. This doesn't mean you stop setting goals. It doesn't mean ambition is bad. It just means you stop making goals the condition for your okayness. You stop telling yourself, I'll be happy when. I'll feel worthy when. I'll be enough when. Because, when never comes. There's always another goal. Another milestone. Another gap to close. And if you tie your fulfillment to achievement, you condemn yourself to perpetual emptiness. But if you separate the two, if you pursue goals because they're interesting, not because they'll fix you, something shifts. You can work toward things without needing them to validate you. You can achieve things without collapsing when they don't bring lasting happiness. You can want more without feeling like what you have isn't enough. And the emptiness? It doesn't disappear. But it becomes less urgent. Less consuming. Because you stop believing that achievement will fill it. And you start filling it yourself. With presence. With meaning. With connection. With purpose that doesn't depend on outcomes. And that might be the only thing that actually works. If you've ever felt empty after achieving something you thought would change your life, you're not broken. You're just human. You were taught that achievement equals fulfillment. That reaching the goal would fix the restlessness inside you. But it doesn't. Because the restlessness was never about the goal. It was about believing you needed the goal to be okay. And you don't. You're already okay. Not because you achieved something. But because okayness isn't something you earn. It's something you allow yourself to feel. With or without the achievement. With or without the milestone. With or without the next thing on the list. The goal was never the answer. It was just a thing you did. And you can do things, pursue things, achieve things, want things, without needing them to complete you. Because you were never incomplete. You were just convinced you were. And you spent your life trying to fix a problem that didn't exist. And maybe now, you can stop.